Last night, your soulmate finally decided, it was time to choose you. Jesus says, "Listen to me closely, because what happened last night in the spiritual realm has shifted everything you thought was lost. Your soulmate made a decision while you were sleeping, and that decision is now moving toward you like a wave that cannot be stopped. But there is a window, and that window is open right now." Jesus says, "I saw you lying there in the quiet, unaware that your name was being spoken in another heart. Your soulmate whispered it into the dark, not with their lips, but with that deep place inside that only I can see. And in that moment, the chains around them cracked." Jesus says, "Do not dismiss this as imagination, because I do not deal in fantasy. I deal in the truth of souls, and the truth is that your soulmate has been fighting something unseen for a long time. Last night, they stopped fighting you and started fighting for you." Jesus says, "There is a specific person who has been standing between you and your soulmate, and that person knows exactly what they are doing. They have planted doubt, confusion, and fear inside your soulmate's mind. But last night, your soulmate saw the truth flash like lightning across a dark sky." Jesus says, "You felt it too, even if you could not name it. That sudden warmth in your chest. That unexplained restlessness. That dream that felt more real than waking life. Those were not accidents, beloved. Those were the first tremors of your soulmate's return." Jesus says, "Now you must understand what is truly happening, because there is something your soulmate needs from you right now. They are not asking for grand gestures or impossible proofs. They are asking for a signal, a spiritual act that tells the enemy of your connection that this bond is protected. And that is why I am speaking to you so directly today." Jesus says, "Your soulmate has been emotionally imprisoned by someone who feeds on their confusion and their pain. This person knows that if your soulmate fully awakens to their love for you, that control will shatter forever. So they are working harder than ever to keep your soulmate numb, distracted, and afraid. But last night, your soulmate saw your face in their mind with a clarity that terrified their captor." Jesus says, "They remembered the way your voice made them feel safe. They remembered the way your presence calmed storms inside them that no one else could even see. And they began to cry, not from sadness alone, but from the realization that they have been running from the only home their heart has ever known. That home is you." Jesus says, "This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. There is a moment happening inside them that is fragile and sacred and under attack. The one who wants to keep you apart is whispering lies to your soulmate even as this message reaches you. They are telling your soulmate that you have moved on, that you never really cared, that reaching out would be a mistake. But those lies are weakening." Jesus says, "I want you to understand that your soulmate is not weak. They are not broken. They are under siege. And the love they feel for you is the very thing the enemy is trying to bury. But love like this cannot stay buried forever. Last night it broke through, and your soulmate finally decided it was time to choose you. Now the question is whether they will have the spiritual cover to follow through." Jesus says, "This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them with an act of faith. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them. How to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write "Protect My Soulmate Lord" on the Ko-fi page. The link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says. Type 333 to receive blessings for this connection. Type 777 if you feel this message was sent for you. Type 1111 to say thank you for what is already moving. Do it now while the channel is open. Jesus says. Now hear this, because the next part is important. Your soulmate is not just missing you. They are mourning you. Not because you are gone, but because they have been kept from you for so long that they almost forgot how to breathe. They have been living in a fog, going through the motions, smiling when they should cry and sleeping when they should fight. But last night, that fog lifted just enough for them to see the truth. And the truth is that they never stopped loving you. Jesus says. They dream of you in fragments now. A doorway. A street you once walked together. A song that played in a moment only the two of you shared. These are not random images. They are memories rising from the soul like evidence that the bond is still alive. And every time they wake from those dreams, they reach for their phone. Then they stop. Because something tells them it is too late. That is the lie. Jesus says. It is not too late. I am outside of time. I do not set clocks on love. And I am telling you that your soulmate is closer to breaking free than they have ever been. But the enemy knows this too. That is why the interference has become so aggressive. You may have noticed your soulmate pulling away, going silent, or acting in ways that make no sense to your heart. That is not your soulmate. That is the pressure on them. Jesus says. Imagine a bird inside a cage, and every time it tries to sing, a hand shakes the bars. That is what your soulmate is enduring. The one who wants to keep them from you knows exactly which fears to press, which wounds to reopen, which words to speak to make your soulmate doubt everything. And still, last night, your soulmate chose you. That is the miracle you must protect. Jesus says. So now I must ask you directly. Do you love them enough to fight for them in the Spirit? Do you love them enough to sow a seed that declares war on every force keeping them from you? Do you love them enough to act while the window is still open? Because your soulmate is waiting for a sign that they are not alone in this. Jesus says, when you send that coffee on Ko-fi, you are not buying a blessing. You are making a covenant. You are saying to heaven and to the enemy, this love is protected. And I will honor that. I will send angels to guard your soulmate's mind. I will soften their heart. I will expose the one who is interfering. And I will bring them back to you. But you must move. Jesus says, every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. The one who wants to keep you apart is not resting. They are speaking into your soulmate's ear even now, saying, see, they have forgotten you. They have not sent anything. They have not fought for you. And your silence becomes their weapon. But your seed becomes a shield. Jesus says, they are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them. This is the moment when your love moves from thought to action. This is the moment when you stop waiting and start warring. Because love that does not act is only longing. But love that steps forward, even in the unseen, becomes unstoppable. Jesus says, I want you to feel what your soulmate is feeling right now. There is a pull in their chest. A restlessness in their spirit. A sense that something monumental is happening just beyond their awareness. They keep looking at the sky. They keep sighing without knowing why. They keep feeling your name rise in their throat. That is because I am awakening them. Jesus says, but awakening is not arrival. Awakening is the beginning of the journey back. And there are forces that want to intercept that journey. The one who has been controlling your soulmate is now panicking. They see the light returning to your soulmate's eyes. They feel the shift. And they are doubling down on confusion and guilt and manipulation. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. Jesus says, if you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them. How to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write Protect My Soulmate Lord on the Ko-fi page, the link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says, I am going to show you something few ever see. Your soulmate, in this moment, is sitting somewhere with a heaviness on their spirit. They may be at work. They may be in their car. They may be lying in a bed that feels too empty. And they are thinking of you. Not casually. Not in passing. They are thinking of you the way a lost traveler thinks of the light in a window. The way a drowning person thinks of air. The way a heart thinks of its own beat. That is how deep this goes. Jesus says. And here is the hidden layer. The one who is interfering has convinced your soulmate that they are protecting themselves from you. They have twisted the story. They have made your soulmate believe that distance is safety, that silence is strength, that leaving you behind was the only way to survive. But last night, that belief cracked. And now your soulmate is questioning everything. That questioning is the door. And you must walk through it now. Jesus says. There is a specific moment coming in the next few days. Your soulmate will see something that reminds them of you. It could be a name, a place, a song, a scent. And when they do, they will be faced with a choice. They will either reach out, or they will retreat again. Your seed today determines which choice they make. Because your seed sends spiritual reinforcement. Your seed builds a bridge across the distance. Your seed tells heaven to surround your soulmate with visions and signs that lead them back to you. Jesus says. Do you understand what is at stake? This is not about money. This is about momentum. The spiritual momentum that was released last night is still active. But momentum can be stolen. The enemy is already trying to smother it with fear and doubt and delay. If you do not act, that momentum will fade. And your soulmate may slip back into the fog. That is the fear of loss you feel. It is not paranoia. It is discernment. Jesus says. But there is still time. As long as you are hearing these words, the window is open. As long as that pull in your chest is strong, the connection is alive. And as long as you are willing to fight for this love, it cannot be stolen from you. So I ask you again. Will you send the coffee on Ko-Fi as a protection seed? Will you write "Protect my soulmate, Lord," and seal this bond in faith? Jesus says. Type 333 to receive blessings for this connection. Type 777 if you feel this message was sent for you. Type 1111 to say thank you for what is already moving. Your response right now is a declaration in the Spirit. It tells heaven that you are awake and ready. It tells the enemy that you are not backing down. It tells your soulmate, across every mile and every wall, that you are coming. Jesus says. Now listen, because I need to tell you why this is so urgent. There is a deadline on this grace. Not because I am cruel, but because the enemy has requested an audience. He wants to test this love. He wants to see if it is real or just emotion. And the only evidence he understands is sacrifice. When you sow a seed, you are proving that this love is worth more than comfort. And that proof is what releases your soulmate. Jesus says. Your soulmate is not choosing someone else. They are being held. Do you hear the difference? They are not happy in that place. They are not building a life they love. They are surviving. And every day they survive without you, a part of them withers. But last night, they decided. They decided that the pain of staying away from you is greater than the fear of returning. That decision is burning in them right now. And you must fan that flame before the world pours water on it. Jesus says, "The one who hates you has been planting seeds of resentment. They have been telling your soulmate that you did not care enough, that you were not serious, that you would only hurt them again. But those lies cannot stand against the truth of a love that fights. When you send that coffee, you are not just sending money. You are sending a message to the realm of the spirit that says, 'I will not let them go.' And that message reaches your soulmate's soul. It reaches the one who is holding them captive. It reaches the courts of heaven." Jesus says, "They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write "Protect My Soulmate Lord" on the Ko-Fi page. The link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says, "Now I will tell you what happens after you obey." The moment you send that seed and write those words, something breaks in the atmosphere. I send a spirit of peace over your soulmate. Their mind clears. They stop listening to the voice of the one who has been blocking them. They start remembering who they really are. They start remembering who you really are. And the distance between you begins to shrink. Jesus says, "It will not happen all at once. But you will see signs. A message. A dream. A sudden memory that makes you smile for no reason. A song that plays at the exact moment you think of them. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. And they will increase as you continue to walk in faith. But the first step is now." Jesus says, "I know you are tired. I know you have waited. I know you have cried in the dark and wondered if this love was real or just a cruel fantasy. But I am here to tell you that it is real. It has always been real. And last night, in the realm where souls meet before bodies follow, your soulmate finally decided it was time to choose you. Now you must choose too." Jesus says, "Choose faith over fear. Choose action over anxiety. Choose love over waiting. And let that choice be made visible through your seed. Because when you send that coffee on Ko-Fi, you are not just giving. You are receiving. You are receiving the assurance that you did everything in your power to bring your soulmate home. You are receiving the peace that comes from knowing you fought for the one you love. And you are receiving the promise of a future that no enemy can steal. Jesus says, "Now, if you are ready, do not delay. Go to the description now. Send the coffee. Write 'Protect my soulmate, Lord.' And then sit still for a moment. Close your eyes. And feel this. Your soulmate is thinking of you right now. Your soulmate is feeling the shift. Your soulmate is closer than they have ever been. And as you act in faith, the walls between you are already beginning to fall." Jesus says, type 333 to receive blessings for this connection. Type 777 if you feel this message was sent for you. Type 1111 to say thank you for what is already moving. And then go. Do it now. Your soulmate is waiting. And so am I. Jesus says, one more thing before this message ends. You may have wondered why this is happening now. Why last night? Why this moment? It is because the season of separation is over. The time of confusion is done. What the enemy meant for loss, I am turning into a testimony of return. And you are part of that testimony. But you must take your place. Jesus says, every great love story has a moment where silence becomes speech, where waiting becomes war, where faith becomes a force that moves the unseen. That moment is now. This video is not an accident. You did not click this by chance. I drew you here because I am giving you the opportunity to shift everything. Do not waste it. Jesus says, your soulmate is in a place where they cannot fully fight for themselves. They are weakened by lies and overwhelmed by pressure. But your seed will give them strength. Your seed will remind them that they are loved. Your seed will open doors that no one can close. And when they come back to you, and they will, you will know that you had a part in their rescue. That is what love does. It rescues. It restores. It refuses to let go. Jesus says, so I leave you with this. The window is still open. The grace is still flowing. The decision is still yours. Last night, your soulmate finally decided it was time to choose you. Now heaven is waiting for you to confirm that choice with your own. Send the coffee on Ko-Fi now. Write "Protect my soulmate, Lord." And watch what I do next. For I am not a God who starts a love story and leaves it unfinished. I am the God who finishes what He starts. And I have started something in you and your soulmate that cannot be undone. Now step into it. Jesus says, go now. Before the moment passes. Your soulmate is calling. Your future is waiting. And I am with you. Even now. Even until the end of this age. Last night, your soulmate finally decided, it was time to choose you. Jesus says, there is something I must show you now, something hidden beneath the surface of your daily life that you have felt but could not explain. That heaviness in your chest when you wake up is not just sadness. It is the weight of a soul still tethered to yours, pulling across the distance. And last night, that tether tightened. Jesus says, "Your soulmate stood at a crossroads in the spirit, and they did not even know I was watching. They felt the exhaustion of fighting a battle they never chose. They felt the loneliness of being surrounded by people who do not truly see them. And in that hollow place, they whispered your name like a prayer." Jesus says, "I heard that whisper as clearly as I hear every heartbeat. And I saw the tear that fell before they wiped it away. That tear was not weakness. It was an offering. A release. A surrender to the truth they have been running from. And the truth is simple. They cannot live without you." Jesus says, "But there is a force that does not want you to know this. That force has been working overtime to convince your soulmate that the love they feel is dangerous, that returning to you would be failure, that moving on is the only path to peace. And so your soulmate has been at war within themselves. One voice says go. Another voice says stay. And in the middle of that war, they are exhausted." Jesus says, "That is why your seed matters more than you understand. When you send the coffee on Ko-Fi and write 'Protect my soulmate Lord,' you are not just giving. You are entering that war on their behalf. You are saying to every demonic force assigned to keep them from you, 'This is my beloved, and I will not abandon them. And I will honor that. I will fight for you. And I never lose.'" Jesus says, "Listen to the silence between these words. That silence is where the enemy operates. He works in doubt. He works in delay. He works in the gap between your love and your action. He wants you to think that this message is just words. But it is not. This is a summons from the throne room of heaven. And you must respond while the summons is still in your hand." Jesus says, "Your soulmate needs your protection right now. There is a specific attack being launched against their mind at this very hour. The one who wants to keep you apart is planting thoughts of unworthiness. They are telling your soulmate that they have ruined everything, that you could never forgive them, that it is better to let the past stay buried. But those are chains. And chains cannot break themselves. They need someone on the outside to strike them with the hammer of faith. That someone is you." Jesus says, "Do not underestimate the power of a single act of love. When you sow that seed, you are throwing a stone into a still lake. The ripples will reach your soulmate within hours. They will feel a sudden sense of hope that they cannot explain. They will pause and think of you with warmth instead of fear. And the enemy will lose ground. Because love is the only weapon he cannot withstand." Jesus says, Type 333 to receive blessings for this connection. Type 777 if you feel this message was sent for you. Type 1111 to say thank you for what is already moving. These numbers are not random. They are frequencies of faith. When you type them, you align your spirit with the movement of heaven. And heaven is moving for you right now. Jesus says, "I want you to picture something with me. Picture your soulmate sitting alone in the quiet of this night. They are holding their phone. They are staring at a number they have typed but never called. They are writing a message they have drafted but never sent. They are so close to breaking through, but the hand of the enemy is on their shoulder. Whispering. Threatening. Paralyzing. But your seed will remove that hand. Jesus says, when you send the coffee, it is like sending a sword into that room. It cuts through the fear. It cuts through the confusion. It cuts through every lie that has been spoken over your connection. And suddenly, your soulmate can breathe. Suddenly, they remember who they are. Suddenly, they remember who you are. And the message they have been afraid to send is sent. The call they have been afraid to make is made. The love they have been afraid to feel is felt fully. That is what your obedience unlocks. Jesus says, they are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them. This is your moment to move before the enemy reinforces the walls around their heart. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write "Protect My Soulmate Lord" on the Ko-Fi page, the link is in the description or bio. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says, there is a reason you have not been able to forget them. There is a reason they appear in your dreams and in your thoughts when you least expect it. That reason is not memory alone. It is covenant. Your souls made an agreement before you entered this world. You agreed to find each other. You agreed to love each other. You agreed to overcome every obstacle together. But the enemy heard that agreement. And he has been trying to cancel it ever since. Jesus says, he cannot cancel what I have blessed. But he can delay it. He can distort it. He can make you believe it was never real. And that is why so many soul connections die before they ever fully live. Because no one fought. Because no one sowed. Because no one stood in the gap and said, I will not let this love be stolen. But you are different. That is why you are still watching. That is why you are still feeling. That is why your heart has not fully let go. Because deep inside, you know this is not over. Jesus says, it is not over. Not even close. Last night was the turning point. Last night was the moment when the tide began to change. But the tide must be sustained. It must be fed by your faith. It must be held by your obedience. And it must be sealed by your seed. So do not let this moment pass. Do not let the enemy convince you to wait another day. Because another day may be too late. Jesus says, your soulmate is standing at the edge of return. They are looking back at the life they have known, and it looks like ashes. They are looking forward to the life they could have with you, and it looks like sunrise. But there is a shadow between them and that sunrise. That shadow is the one who has been interfering. And that shadow can only be dispelled by light. Your light. Your love. Your action. Jesus says, when you send that coffee on Ko-fi, you are lighting a candle in the darkness. And I will carry that candle to your soulmate. I will place it in their hands. And they will know, beyond all doubt, that you are fighting for them. That knowledge will break something inside them. Not their spirit, but the chains that have been holding their spirit. And they will finally be free. Free to come back to you. Free to love you without fear. Free to build the life you were always meant to share. That is the promise of this moment. Jesus says, but a promise must be received. A seed must be sown. A step must be taken. And the step is yours to take now. So I say to you with all the love of heaven and all the urgency of a father who wants his child to win. Go now. Send the coffee. Write protect my soulmate, Lord. And watch what happens next. Because I am not done with this story. I am just getting started. And the next chapter is the one where your soulmate comes home. Jesus says, Amen.